Can you see my screen now? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, my lord.
Okay. So I'll go to my downloads folder. I just set up this computer for this work today, and you see the Git file here. I've downloaded it, the executable file for the Windows piece. So I'll double click on it. So it will prompt me. Do you want to allow this app to make changes? Yes. I'll go ahead and we wait for it. Okay. So it's asking me to accept the terms and conditions. You have the time, you can read through the terms and conditions and you accept and click on next. It will install in the default file. I will agree with to that. Good. So I will need it to have an additional icon on my desktop. That's my preference. If you don't want that, you can let it go. I'll do that. If I wanted to check daily for Windows updates and all that, I can tick that, but I don't want it to do that for now. I'll just go ahead and click on next. Um, it will now prompt you. Do you want to create a start menu field folder? Now, a start menu folder is once your computer boots, it will initialize the start menu for this app. I don't want that. So I don't want that. I will click on this and go ahead to the next. Next. I'll just keep clicking on the next to use the default settings and go ahead and install it. So let's wait for it to install. If you've not installed yours, you can follow me and do the installation along with me. So it's loading the installing the Git file. So it will ask me view release notes. No, let me launch bash. Yes, because I want to use it right now. So I'll go ahead and launch the Git bash. So this is what we have. Okay. So this is what we have. We are in the Git terminal now. So the next thing we are going to do is to configure Git for the initial use. The first thing we will do, if you have not created your GitHub account, I will advise that you go ahead and create your GitHub account. Okay. And I already have my GitHub, so I'll simply log into GitHub. So this is my GitHub dashboard. It's it's active. Okay. So I'll go back and now start configuring my GitHub, my Git. This configuration will allow my Git to able to communicate to GitHub. Okay. And what we the commands are these: git config hyphen global. It's the global configuration. User dot name. Then you put your username. Now the username you are going to put and input here is your GitHub username, and mine is Callisto's one. Okay, it was successful. It has accepted that. I also want to set up my email, the official email that I used in opening my GitHub account. So I'll go and say git config again, global, Oh, sorry. Git config in global user dot email. Okay, you put that official email that you use. Mine is ucktech1 at gmail.com, and it accepts that. So I can now list the configuration I want with this command, and I can see the configurations and so on and so forth. So I am done configuring Git. You can go ahead. There are more advanced configurations that you can do here, but we'll stop at this and use the other method. We're not going to do some other configuration here. All you got to do is set your username and set your email, and it must correspond with the email and username that you used for your GitHub account. Is that clear? So I'm just going to go ahead and close my Git.
I have a question. Mine didn't work out.
Okay, what
The
didn't work out in
configuration.
this? Did
Uh,
you install it?
so when I yes, I installed it. So when I try to configure by typing the command git config just the way you did and also in
Yeah.
the PDF file, it didn't initiate or interrupt.
Okay, okay, you know what? Yeah, you with your PC, can you share your screen with us and let's try it again?
Okay. Let me give me a minute.
Let
Let
me
me move
stop
this code
sharing.
to the system.
Let me stop sharing. Is there a mentor online? If you're a mentor online, please indicate. Take
No,
over and
cannot yet.
give me a minute.
Okay, yes, you can see it now.
Okay.
I'm coming now. Okay. Please kindly continue while trying to switch the code to the PC. I'll notify.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello. Now,
Yes, we can hear you.
people were here. You were saying something.
Yes, I can hear you.
What's the instructor for? I don't know. Is there any help?
I said you can continue.
Okay, don't worry. I'm here. I'm
You
back.
can continue. I'm
So,
trying to
Chibuzo,
switch the
can I
call
continue?
to my PC.
Can I continue?
Yes, yes, you can continue. Why? Yes, you can continue. You can
Okay.
continue. I will draw
You
your
meet
attention
your
later.
instructor. You can meet your instructor after the class. You can meet your instructor definitely.
All
So
right. All
by
right.
now we have configured our Git hub, right? Now the next thing we're going to do is this: we are going to set up a repository, and we are going to go ahead to push our code. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go to GitHub. Now, if you have logged in to your GitHub account, you're going to see your interface, your home page, your dashboard will be like this. And right there, are you following along? Should I continue?
Can you please share your screen?
Please switch off your mic. Are you following along? Should I continue?
Yes, for my
Yes,
gigs, I'm
please go
still
on.
running the installation on my Mac.
Yes.
So I should wait for you guys, right?
No, you can continue, sir.
Okay. Now, right here, you logged into your GitHub. You ought to have created a GitHub account by now. If you have
Sorry,
not,
are you sharing your screen?
what?
Sorry, are you sharing your screen because I can't see your screen?
Okay, you can't see my screen. Okay, thank
Are you
you for.
sharing your screen?
Yes, don't worry. Let me share it again. So we can you see my screen right now?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Now this is your GitHub. GitHub is currently owned by Microsoft. Microsoft bought GitHub, uh, and they have been doing some great works on it. When you log in, you're going to be able to see the repositories. Why I'm saying this is because I already have some repositories here that I've been working. Hello, please, are you saying something? Hello, if you are not saying anything, can you please switch off your mic? Okay, so let's continue. We have this, and you'll see a new repository button by the right, by the left side of the panel. So we'll go ahead and click on the new. Now you'll be asked to create a repository name. So I'm going to name this 0 to hero, Python 0 to hero. I think you guys should also do that. Python 0 to hero. You can put the names together or you can give them space. But once you do that, uh, GitHub is going to add an underscore to these spaces automatically. So I'm going to name my repository Python 0 to hero. Repository simply means folder. It's a synonym for folder. Okay. So you can now, once you've put in the name, you can give a description of the repository. What is it going to be doing for? What is it going to be there for? So it's just put a basic description for it. So repo for the Python 0 to hero practice exercises. Okay, so that's what this is. Now you have an option to make this repo public or make it private. Public is that anyone on the internet can see this repository, but you can decide who will commit, who will push and make updates on the code base. But then private is, you choose this private option, you choose who can see and commit to this repository. You choose who will see and you choose who will commit to it. But for this class, we're going to leave this repo as public. So I'll leave it as public. Add a README file. This Like if another person is cloning your code, it's not supposed to be seeing your local file resources. Probably you're using a Windows PC and he's using a MacBook, and then there might be differences. So there are some files you need to ignore. I will show you how to do git ignore when we begin to push. Okay, so it's a file. We call it the git ignore file, and we will add it offline in our git before we push. Okay, finally, you choose the license for your code. There are different licenses here that you can choose. This license determines how others can use and what they can do with your code. Okay, it is always advisable to add a license to your code base. Okay, it can be MIT license, it can be the Apache license. Each of these licenses determines who can use your code and what they can use it for. If you happen to see your code base being used by someone and he is using it for something that it is not defined, you can sue that person because already it has a license. So we are going to want to leave it. You can add your license later. So I'll just click on create repository and we wait for the repo to be created. So hello, are you with me?
Yes.
So I should go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Now this is the GitHub repository that has been created, and right there it says Python 0 to hero, and it indicates that it is a public repository. Okay, um, nobody's watching it. I would like you to watch this repo as the time goes on. Nobody has started, so it's because it's just a brand new repo. Okay, you can create code with the code space, GitHub code space right here. You can add collaborators if it's. I need, for example, I need one of the mentors, I need one of the apprentices to collaborate with me and work together on this code. I can already send him an invite using this. Okay, so but now below we will see a link to this repo right here. So this is the link to this repo. This is how you can access this repo. You can send this to anyone anywhere in the world and they'll have access to the code. So far as it's a public repo, they can see what is going on right here and the codes you've pushed. Okay. So, and below is an instruction that GitHub provides for us by default. So we are going to use this instruction. We're going to follow it and we're going to make our first push. This instruction is already in the document that you've been sent, and it's also on the slide that I'm using. Okay, it's also on the slide that I'm using. You get both of them by the end of the class. Okay, so we're now going to go ahead and go offline to our local PC where we are now going to use these instructions. The first instruction here is creating a new repo on the command line, and the second one is pushing an existing repo. We're going to use this one because we do not have an existing repo on our local PC. We're going to use this for the first time. We're making our first commit. We're making our first uh, push to the repo. So we're going to use the first instruction, set of instructions. So now I'm going to go ahead and fire up my Visual Studio Code. I'm sorry for this. Okay. I hope you can still see my screen. Can you?
Yes.
You see your screen. You see your
Okay, so now this is my Visual Studio Code. Sorry, let me create a folder. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm not going to use command line. You can use command line to create the folder and so on and so forth. And then just do it right using the graphic user interface so as not to confuse anybody. So I'll call these 0 to hero. This is the folder I am working on. The action cannot be complete because another program. Okay. So what is opening another program? Then? What? Sorry. Really? Anyways, let me go in here and open a new folder. Sorry. Uh, where do I open a new one? So I can name it. With this, you can work in any part of your computer. Uh, let me go to my documents and see what's happening here. Let me create a new folder here. Okay, it seems like the app I'm using to record this is kind of interfering. I'm going to leave it as new folder and go ahead with it. But you can rename yours. You can rename yours. Okay, to whatever suits you, which is probably zero to hero name for your folder. And I'm going to go ahead and open this with Visual Studio Code. So I'll right click and open with code. Okay. So Visual Studio Code will ask me, do you trust this author? Yes, trust this author and operate. Go ahead. No, I don't trust this author. Yes, I trust this author. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to install some extensions. Okay. I'm going to install some extensions. I'll just go to my extension panel, the extension menu on my panel, and I will search for Git. I'll just type in Git. You'll see so
Hello,
many
sir.
extensions. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Somebody said something. Are you with me?
Yes, we are with you.
Okay, somebody was saying something.
The video is
Yeah.
not responding. The video is not. Hello, sir.
Oh, hello. You can't see my screen?
Let him log out and log in again because it's working okay for me.
Okay. Can you see that I'm in Visual Studio Code?
Yes, you're looking for Git. You're searching for Git.
Okay. So you please log in and log out and log in again. There's so many Git packages, extensions you can go ahead to install, but I'm going to install just a few of them. I'm going to install um, the Git graph. I'm going to install the Git blem. I'll install Git graph, Git blem. I'll also install Git lens. Okay. So these are extensions that will help you. Git blem is used to track changes people have made, and you can easily find out who made the last push and what broke the code. For example, you have a code base that has been working quite good, then somehow the whole system crashed, and it might be because somebody made an update, and then nobody is accepting that he or she made the update. Everybody is denying the whole thing. So with the Git blame, you can track this thing and know who and who can be blamed for the crash. So it's called the Git blame. There's something with Git lens, which you can use to visualize uh, your Git blem and code lens. So that's what the Git lens. You can use it to create a visualized format of this. Then you can install Git history if you want to know, compare histories and the rest of them. I'm just going to leave it as Git graph, Git blem, and Git lens. Okay. There are other extensions that will help your Git workflow very well. You can read them up and try to install them. Okay. So we are back here. I went to the extensions here. I installed Git lens. I installed Git blem, and I also installed the Git graph. Okay. I'll go back to my project folder. Okay. Any question? Now we're gonna be working
I'm
on the
lost. Oh,
workflow. Where did you get lost, sir?
a extension we need to install. I was
Okay.
having
I'll
network
install
loss.
Git lens. Okay. Got it there. Git lens. I installed Git blem, and I also installed Git graph.
Okay.
Git graph, Git blem, and Git lens. Okay. As your installation is going on, let's create a basic Python file in this folder. I'm gonna call it oh what hello? Can you see my screen?
So, sir.
You've
No, sir, we
answered.
can't see your screen.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No, sir.
Okay, what's going on?
I can't see your screen, sir.
You can see it, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'll go ahead and create a new file here, a new Python file. I have not installed the Python extensions, so I'll go ahead and to hero. Okay, let's just call it a pure, a basic Python file, and I will call this introduction. The put a comment. I'm gonna put a comment. Okay. Um, a Python code for teaching Git and GitHub. Okay. So this is what we have here. And I'm going to write just a simple hello world. This can be as as it can be any file that contains any code, but I'm going to write just a simple print hello world statement. Okay. Okay. So this is a Python code for printing hello world. So I have this code here. I can have as many files here. I can create as many files as I want. Um, and so on and so forth. So this is my code link. And also create a new folder inside here if I want. Day 4 and day 5. Yeah, day 5. I have a folder called day 5. Inside day 5, I can create a new file. I call it one UI. So I have assumed that this is my code base. I have two files outside in the parent folder, and I have a folder inside the parent folder. I call it the 5, and the 5 has the file. Like, are you with me? Am I good to go? Should I continue or should I wait for you?
Yeah,
So after
go ahead.
you have your Git installed and put up, I would like you to follow along with me. So now I'm going to put a file called a readme file. Put it here, put the readme down file. Remember, I told you while we were creating the script, the readme file is like a longer description of what your code is, what is going to be, what kind of file is there, if it's a file that is in this table, how is it going to work. When somebody sees the readme of your project in GitHub, it will be able to understand this project and what it does. So with Markdown, you can add pictures, add videos, add text, and adjust your content the way. I'll just put a simple text inside this. I'm going to say, just like this. I was going to put Are you good to go?
Hello, sir. Please, I'm
Should I,
finding
ho-
it a bit
should I hold on?
difficult to hear you. Your line keeps breaking. Can you go
Hello?
over how you created a README?
I I created a readme by creating a new file and I called it readme.md. Readme.md.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
What is the MD there? What is the MD there? Because in Python you put
The
PY.
MD
The
is the
MD is for
file
what?
extension. In Python, you have .py. File extensions define the kind of file. With Git, you can push any type of file, PDF file, whatever, Word documents, and all of them. The MD here defines the file extension. Markdown file. It is a markdown file. So the MD is the extension of this file. You can Markdown is a file format which you can use to arrange text documents too. Once you've created your Markdown file, I'm still on the parent folder. I'm going to create the git ignore file. Okay, I'll right click to create a new file. I'll put dot git ignore git ignore. Okay. Now remember the git ignore file is what we're going to use to ignore everything that we do not want to push online. We don't want it to be pushed online to GitHub. Uh, as I said earlier, it might be some part of your code which you don't want for it to go public. It can be what is called environment variable, settings, passwords, and login details of certain things that you don't want to keep online, databases you don't want to go online. Okay, it can also be packages that you installed while using your computer, while writing your code, and you don't want it to be online. Okay, so you ignore them here. It's ignore. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, the git ignore. There are some like Windows, VS Code, Python. There are some default files that come with it, and that you may not totally know. Okay, and you actually didn't create these files, so but they are inbuilt in your system, and you need to ignore them. There was a situation I had with a friend of mine. He was using Git. He's actually a mobile developer, mobile app developer, and he wanted to push a code base to Git for an interview. But then Git was rejecting the code because of its size. He forgot to use Git ignore. All the packages he used while setting up his project was being pushed online, and Git was rejecting it. And his interview was like 1 hour. He had to run all the way, like, but please. I said, oh, please, sir. Look, you forgot to put the Git ignore. I mean,
Hmm.
once he added the Git ignore, it was good to go. So there are Git ignore files for packages that you install, and you may not know them. Where do we get the Git ignore? Some of the default Git ignore files. So I'm going to take us to our browser again. We're going to open a website, and we're going to search for gitignore.io. Gitignore.io. It will redirect you to another website that says toptile.com. Okay, and you see it right there, gitignore.io. So with this, there are some default packages for every application you're using. Whether you're writing Python, you're using VS Code, whether you're using Windows, or you're using a Python package, and there are some default files that should be ignored by default. Okay, you use them and add it to your Git ignore. You search for them here and you find them. These people created a directory for such files. So first of all, let me search for Python. Okay, I'm going to search. I'm going to click on. If you see a search for Python, it pops up. I'm going to click on Python. Yeah, let me search for Visual Studio Code. Sorry, Visual Studio Code. I'll look for it here. It pops up. I'll click it. It adds it to the search list. Let me search for Windows. Okay, and here click Windows. So I'm going to create a list of files. These people are going to generate for me, and I'm going to add it to my Git ignore by default. Okay, so I'll click on the create button, and it comes up with a list of files for me. What I will do is I will highlight it and copy all of them. So I'll right click, I'll copy. Once I copy, I'll come to my ignore file. I'm going to press them. So I press them. I'll choose my file. So I ignore. It has default files for Windows, which I already created. Uh, I created with my gitignore.io folder file, website. Sorry, it has default Python code that should be ignored. And same thing can code your student code that along with it. I can decide to add a file. Let's say I have a file here. I have a new file. Let me call it var.doc. Okay, var.doc. And I don't want the var.doc to be pushed along. Okay, don't want it to be pushed along to probably contain some certain uh, sensitive information which I do not want another information.
Please, Mr. Oba, your mic is cracking.
Okay, can you still hear me? Is it okay now?
Not very
Yes.
clear, sir.
Where did I stop?
Obadoc.
Okay. So I have a file. Assuming I have a file called oba.doc. It's a document file, and I don't want to push it along to GitHub. Okay, I want it to remain local. Probably it contains some password file, some configuration file, which I don't want it to be public. I don't want any other person to see it. And I want to ignore it. I will wish it is proper to ignore such files. Okay, there are so many of them. uh, I can come in here and add the name of the file, oba.doc. Sorry. So once you add it here, Git will ignore it. Sorry. So now we are good to go. We're good to go. We've added our git ignore file. We've added our readme file. We've created folders in this project. And the next thing we are going to do is to see if we can now um, add these things and push these things to Visual Studio, to our GitHub. And how are we going to do that? First of all, we have to go to our terminal and pull up our terminal. Okay.
Split screen.
Can't you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can
Your
see.
screen is visible.
Yes, we can see.
Share.
Okay, let me change this to CMD. Okay, the first command you should always add when pushing, the first thing you do is to your git init. Git init, it stands for git initialize. That's the first command. You see it in that document, you see it in the PowerPoint slide. It's git init. So once you do your git init, this one comes alive, your source control system, and it is now monitoring this folder. Everything in this folder now is being monitored. Every activity, every change that you make, it is going to taking note of it. Okay? Now let me show you something. If you're using a Windows PC, go to that folder. Let's open it up. Okay? Go to view. When you go to view, look for hidden items. Check the box. You're going to see a hidden Git repo file. So this is where everything is happening behind the scenes. The hidden repo file. Everything is happening right here. You are not once you delete it, every change you've made, it will no longer be part of it. So be mindful, do not tamper with this unless you have. But I don't think you have to right now. So let's go back to my case. Then
Excuse me, sir.
let's go.
Just a question. So I did some commit and I made a mistake. I think I made a mistake on my username. So nothing happened. So if I remove that folder, will it revert when I initialize again? Will it
So,
come
so
back?
what you're going to do is this.
Mm,
Go to Git again. Sorry, go to
mm,
the Git bash, that Git application we downloaded, and change
yes,
your username and put the correct one. Once you do
yes.
Git global hyphen user.name, and it will change to update your um git bash and use your, then you can now do your push again, do the configuration, git commit, git push, git everything, and push back.
All right.
Okay. So here we are again. Now the next command we are going to do is we're going to do the git status. Git status will show us the status of the files in this project folder, in this directory. Have they been added to Git or not? It will tell us. So I'm going to do Git status. So when I run the Git status command, it is telling me that Git is not tracking the following files: the Git ignore, the readme, the file, introduction, lesson.py. It ignores oba.doc because we already added it to the Git ignore. So it's going to, this one is not part of my concern. They said I should ignore it. So it's ignoring it. The same happens to every other file that was added to this git ignore folder file. So it will automatically ignore them. It won't push them. It won't even look at them. So right now, with what we have, the git status, we have gotten the information that these files here are not.
Sorry, I can't see your screen.
Hello?
Yes, sir, the screen is no longer showing.
Are you sure?
Now the screen is showing now.
It's what?
Okay.
I
Hold on,
can
hold
see
It's
on.
the
not.
screen.
It's not showing.
The screen is showing.
The screen is not showing, Mr. Oba.
How
Yeah,
come
okay.
it's not showing?
Okay, please do not
It's not
confuse
showing.
me. Do not confuse me. Um, it will show now.
So kindly repeat the last thing you were demonstrating.
Yeah, I'll do that. A call came in, and I was doing a hotspot setting with my phone on this particular PC. So when the call came in, it disrupted the network. But we're back. So we were talking about git ignore right here now, and we were saying that git ignore ignores these files that we attached into it. So Oba is not showing up here. It's not being tracked because we put it on git ignore. And now we did git status. The git status shows us all the files that are being tracked by GitHub and those that has not been committed. We're going to learn committing in a few minutes from now, a few seconds from now. So these are the files: git ignore, readme, day 5, and everything inside day 5. That's why you have the forward slash, introduction.py, and lesson.py. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to tell Git begin to track these files. Okay, we say Git, we'll add the command here, Git add. Now you can do it singularly or you can do it for all at the same time. So when you say Git add, you can say lesson.py. It goes. Let me do Git status again. So you see, lesson.py is no longer part of this code that is being monitored and it have not been added because I just said git add lesson.py. You see, it has moved to this particular folder. It's now on a green color, showing us that it has been staged. Git has taken a snapshot of it. Okay, so now we can still, if you're working on a project and you have a whole lot of files, it's not advisable to start doing them one after the other. You can simply do git add and give a space, put a dot. Sorry, git add like this. You put a dot at the end. That means git add all. And once you do that, it adds all the files here and begins to track it. Tracking it means if you do any change, if you make any change to the code, Git will take note of it. Now, git add dot does git add. It adds up every file in that project folder. I can go ahead and say git status again. I can see that all the files now is now being tracked, except for those that have been ignored. All the files are now being tracked. Now, if I make a change here, let's say 1.5, let me quickly make a change here. Let me make a change by saying print. I love Python. Sorry. So when I do I love Python and I save it, I'll do git status again. Git is tracking it. It is telling me that lesson 1.5 has been modified. So for every file that is being tracked here now, if I make a change, Git takes note of it. If I make a change, Git takes note of it. So once I make my right change, I can say git add again, and it adds begins to take note of the changes that have been made. Okay. Are we good to go? Should I continue? Any questions so far? So now, once we've done the git add, we are going to do the git commit. Now, this git commit, Git takes a snapshot of the whole project that have been added. It's called the staging process. What it does is it takes a snapshot. It records the last thing you've done, okay, and stores it in your memory. For every commit you make, it is stored. Okay. With this git commit, you can revert back to an older version. For example, I am building a website and it has been working very well. I decided to add a new feature to the website. And once I added it, the whole website crashed and it cannot work again. But I've made the changes and I wish I could just go back to that time it was working. With git commit, you can do that. You can revert back to an older version of your code that was working. You can even fast forward too. If you're on an old version and you need to move forward to a newer version. So that is git commit. The stages, the snapshots will enable us to be able to move backward and move forward in our code bases. Okay, so git commit -m, you now put information here, what you can use to remember this commit. I can say my first commit. This information is what you're going to use to track these changes. So once I do git commit -m, my first commit, a snapshot of it has been taken and it's telling me the 5 files have been changed. 230 insertions were done on these files, and look at the files here, the git ignore, the readme, the day5, lesson 1.py, introduction, lesson.py. But the doc was ignored because it's in the git ignore. Okay, If we go back to our GitHub, you see that the first thing we do Git init, you do your Git readme file, you do your commit. Okay, and this is where we've stopped for now in our local code base. Your Git commit, you keep doing this. This is something you do constantly while you're developing. You don't do it okay once you're done. Once you made a major change, you git add, you git commit, you git push. It's like part of your coding. It's integral part. You do it like you didn't do it 200 times in a day and not get tired of it. It's like when you are saving. If you do a project, you save, Control S. If you type something, you save. So this is the same thing as you. As you're saving, you're doing your git commit. This thing can be automated too, but let's do the manual thing first. Are we good to go? Am I too fast? Should I continue? Are you with me? Any question? Hello?
Good to go, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now we are now going to create a branch. We are now going to create a branch. Now, this is like a tree, and a tree has different branches. Okay, but you have the trunk, which is holding everything up, which is the main branch. The trunk seems to be the first shoot that comes up when a tree is germinating. So it is holding everything together. So the same thing is applicable to Git here. You can have different branches of your code. You can have different persons contributing to this code and staying on different branches. Okay, but then we have the main branch, which is holding the whole thing together. And it is the first thing that is to be created. It is the first branch that is to be created. So we say git branch, I think, capital M. Okay, and then you put the name of the branch, which is the main. Git branch -m main. Okay, I'll go ahead and add it. So if I check, I can say git branch now. It will show me that I am in the main branch. So git branch -m is used to create the initial main branch or any other branch you might want to create. Okay, no, just initial branch. Because the other one you can do git checkout or bring the rest of them. But now we do say git branch to create the main branch. And this is the main branch. And you can check to see the branch you are on by using the git branch command. And once you do it, it shows you the branch you are on, which is the main. Okay. Once you've branched, we can now go ahead and link this remote repository, this local repository, this local folder. We'll go ahead and link it with the remote repository. What's going on here? Okay, we'll go and add it up with the remote repository. This one that is online is called the remote repository, while the one that is in our PC is the local repo. Okay, we go ahead and add it up quickly. So we say I copied the code. The code there says git remote add origin. Okay, git remote add origin, and it has the link to the repo attached to it. So I just copied it, and I will paste it here. Okay, git remote add origin. Then you put the link, complete link to the repo. So it has added it. Okay, once you've added it, I will do my git push. Git push is the command that we use to push this local repo, the content of our local repo to the remote repo. Okay, for the first instance, you do git push having you origin main. Okay, but as you continue to push, you don't need to do the origin main again. You just got to do git push, git push. But for the first time you are pushing, you're going to tell it this is where this thing is originated from the main branch and make it the main branch. So this is what it's telling us. Okay, so I'll go in. Okay, sorry. I'll say, what's going on here with this terminal? Sorry. Git push fn u. Okay, git push -u. That's the command origin main, and you wait for it to push. Once you put that command, you press your enter key and you wait. Now, this thing will prompt me for something. If this particular Visual Studio Code has not been configured to push to GitHub for the first time, it is going to ask me to sign in with my browser, okay, or sign in with code. I'm going to go ahead and say sign in with the browser. This is the first time I'm pushing with this particular PC, okay. So I'll go ahead. You see the pop-up right there, signing with browser, signing with code, uh, signing in with browser. Okay, please complete authentication in your browser. So I'll go back to my browser, which is Visual, my browser here, and says authentication succeeded. You may now close this tab and return to your application. Now, if you've not logged into GitHub, it will ask you to
Excuse
log
me,
in.
you have stopped sharing.
Did I?
Yes, you have stopped sharing.
Should have said, did it stop right now or has it been long?
Right now.
No, right now, right now.
Right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. So can you see it now? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
So it took me to this place. Did you get me? Did you get me when I got here?
No, sir.
Okay. So the thing prompted me to go to my browser. Did you get that? To go to my browser for authentication. Did you
Yes,
get that?
sir.
Okay. Now I went to my browser and this is what it showed me. It told me authentication succeeded because I have already logged in using this browser and my session is still on. Okay. But if I have not logged in or if you've not logged in using this browser, it will not ask you to log in to GitHub. And once you log in, the authentication will be successful. And it will now inform you to close the tab and return to the application. Okay, I close the tab and I'll return to, once I return to the automatic, because I have my internet is a little bit strong, so it pushed. It was very fast. Okay. Once you close it, it will push. If your authentication was successful and it didn't push, all you gotta do is come back and take the command again. Good push having the origin mail to push. Now, if you didn't do the git ignore, you might have a lot of baggages you'll be pushing along and it might slow down your code. And there's an amount, the size of file that GitHub do accept. So if it exceeds that size, the code will fail. That's why git ignore, the pushing will fail. That's why git ignore is very, very important. Okay. Now you do this once, you set up this once. So anytime you come back and make a change to this code, you just gotta push it. You push it, you keep pushing. You don't need to set it up again. Sorry. You don't need to set it up again. Now, let me go back to my browser, to my GitHub and see. I'm going to refresh this. So once I refresh it, you see, Python 0 to hero, okay? And these are the files and the folder. The folder, the file, git ignore is here. The readme file is already in GitHub. Introduction.py is there. If I open them, I'll see the code that I've written, print hello world, and so on and so forth. This is lesson1.py, it has the files. My readme, I can still go back to my folder. The readme file added is there. And it's telling me that these pushes were made, these commits were made 11 minutes ago. Okay, so it's tracking the things and the changes that I made. You can make changes directly online here. Okay, and I have one branch, which is the main branch. So this is the main branch. I have one branch. Okay, I can add more files using Git. I can code. Don't worry, we'll talk about this when we in our next class on Git, where we can now push. But this is the link to the folder online, to the GitHub repo. This is the link to it. Okay. We'll talk about pull requests. We talk about GitHub actions and wiki security and every other and settings in another class. But for this class, we are just focusing on pushing our first code to GitHub. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add more things to this. Should I continue? Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. The hyphen U and hyphen M, what does it indicate?
Come again.
Hyphen U and hyphen M, what does it indicate?
Okay, the hyphen U and the hyphen M, what does it imply? Okay. Did I get you right? Oh, Jesus, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The hyphen U, these are pseudo commands. Give me a minute. You will not, when you go ahead, you will not only see the hyphen U and hyphen, you're going to see a lot of hyphens. You're going to see hyphen M, capital letter. You're going to see hyphen U, small letter. You're going to see double hyphen, patch. Now, these are pseudo commands in Git. Okay. How will I explain this pseudo command now? Let me look for the right to simplify it. You see, they're like sub command that initializes the main command in Git. Okay. For example, you have hyphen M, capital M, that is like git push hyphen git commit hyphen M. Now it's that M there stands for make. Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that M stands for hyphen M. So sorry, that's hyphen M stands for Mac. Sorry, in Git and GitHub. So it tells Git, okay, once you are doing, we're asking you to make that, or to make so command, to execute so command. It's called a sudo command. In other words, some might call it flag. Okay, the flag executes a particular purpose. It tells it like git commit and you're flagging it to do a particular thing. When you are setting, when you're pushing online, the hyphen U is like upstream. It's a sub command that says upstream. So the upstream repo, you're telling it, okay, this is the upstream link, git push hyphen U upstream. You put the name of the branch that you are pushing, setting to the upstream stage. Okay. So that is the command. There are pseudo commands that you, a short form of the command that you are using. You're not just pushing it directly. You're not specifying it totally. You're putting a short format for it, and there is a list of them officially. You are not the one who creates them. Rather, the Git team who is responsible produces these flags or pseudo commands that you use with your Git. Am I clear, or should I repeat?
If you can be able to repeat this configuration, I don't understand anything.
I will I will be glad to go to the recorded session because I'm completely lost. I'll go to the recorded session
Where did
just to
you get
recap.
lost? Where did you get lost?
From the onset that I have that challenge then
Your
till
mind
now.
went okay. The recording will be made available, I think, tonight too, because you're going to submit your assignments using it, and your mentors will also be there. I'm recording it offline now. Side. The last class, something happened.
Okay.
The recording stopped. Yes. So, any other question? The first person said he's lost. Where did you get lost, sir? Joshua, I think so.
Creating of everything, like the configuration, how you pushed, okay, from how you pushed that to the remote um, repository.
What I did was I said git push, and then I added the hyphen u, which is upstream, which is a flag or pseudo command to put the thing upstream. Git push. Git did its own thing. We are not supposed to do anything. Once you do it, it will do its own thing and ask you to authenticate if it is for the first time. It will take you to the browser. It will pop up and ask you to do browser authentication or code authentication. I chose browser. It went to my browser and logged me in. What it was trying to do, it was trying to create a connection between my Visual Studio Code and my uh, GitHub account so that the files can be easily be pushed. Okay, once I accepted that, it automatically pushed the file. This sometimes gets in confusing, but you don't need to carry this have these commands offhand. You should always have it in a piece of paper, and nobody's going to crucify you. Anytime you want to push, you look at your right end, at your documentation, and follow the steps and do your pushing. This particular one is it's something that a lot of people do, but as you do it, you get conversant with it. You are not expected to know it by just doing it the first time. You might not even get to know it by doing it 10 times.
Laptop.
but it is very, very, very important. Can you hear me? Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, yes, I
My
can hear
mic,
you.
my mic went off initially, but it's back online. So what I'm trying to say is that Git and GitHub is something that you don't need to rush. Take your time, get the documentation, follow the steps, meet your mentor, watch the video over and over, and don't cram it. The more you do it, the more you become conversant with it. But it is also important if you have to work. You're going to work in a company. If you're going to work with some other software developers, you have to learn how to push your push your code to Git and GitHub, and they can access your code there. Okay, so you rewatch the video, you meet your mentor, and as you code, they will guide you through this. Okay. So I'm going to make for those who but stay in the class. I don't know if you've done the attendance. The attendance should be shared on the link. The mentor in charge of the attendance, please drop the link for the attendance so that they can sign the attendance for today, please. Okay. So I'm going to make. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So assuming I am coding on this now, I now want to add another thing to this introduction.py. Let me see. Let me create a variable. I'm adding a code to add two numbers. Oh, sorry. So now this is, I've added a code to add these two numbers now. You see that I have saved the code, but then I've also, let me do some other things here. And this is another part of my code base. I am working and I said, let me see, let me do something here. I made a change, update, okay. And I say import map, it's max. Also, let me just say I made a change and I said import map. The capital M. Okay, or something like that. I say I create a variable value, and I say impute. Okay, I just made a random change to my code basis, and then I still need to now push this thing to GitHub. Okay, what I'll do my Git status. My Git status now will tell me that introduction was modified, which is the file here where I did my X and Y addition. And then it also tells me that lesson.py was also modified, which is where I imported math and created a variable called value with an impute statement to it. So once I have done that and I need to push it to GitHub, I'll do git add all, git commit. I'll put my flag again, -m in this one, which is a sudo command to execute this task. I'll say made imported math, and this is just a description of what I did that I can always use to remember it. The message here, -m here, stands for message.
That's not a git commit though.
Yes, I've not done git commit. I'll first of all, oh yeah, that's git commit. I'm sorry, yeah. Instead of git add, I'll do git commit -m with the message, sudo command flag of message. And what's the message? Remember, this message is what we're going to be doing what we're going to be using for our fast forwarding and reverting our code to an earlier version or moving it forward to a version that already exists before. Okay, so the message here now is you always make sure that you use a message that is related to what was done so that it can correspond and you can remember when you are moving between the versions of your code. Okay, so I can say added, okay, imported math and lesson. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say imported math. And once I do that, I'll do my for me to place my enter key and it to tell me two files changed, which is introduction.py, lesson.py, and 9 insertions and 2 deletions. So everything I was doing here, Git was watching it. It was taking note of it, it was monitoring it, and at the end, when I make a commit, it will tell me this, this, this. This is what you did, this is what you did. Now at the end, I'll now do git push. The first time I used the flag U upstream origin main, right? But this time, because that was the first time of doing it, this time I can just go ahead and say git push. Once I do my git push, it is not going to prompt me. It is no longer going to prompt me to log in again because already I have been authenticated the first time. It will just go ahead and push the code to GitHub. Just go ahead directly and push it to GitHub and give me the details that was pushed. So if I go to my GitHub on my browser now, sorry, if I go to my GitHub on my browser now, I will be able to, if I refresh it, okay, if I refresh it now and go to introduction, it will tell me that I made a change 1 minute ago. 1 minute ago. If I go to introduction.py now, I will see what I was able to do there, X and Y that I added and the code. If I go to lesson.py, I will see the math that I imported and the sorry, and the corrections that I made. That is the very basic of our class today, pushing your code base to GitHub. So you can go ahead and try this out. You have the whole week to try this from now till Saturday. Interact with your mentor, ask me questions, watch the video, read the resources, and make sure you get up to speed. The assignment will be submitted via Git, so you can be adding them for each file and pushing them till you get it correct. And we are here to help you get it correct. Don't be too afraid. Don't feel too lost. Okay. This is always somehow, especially the first time of doing it, and you are not left alone on this. So I don't know if you have any question. This is where we're going to stop for today on pushing our code to GitHub. Then at the end, you can share the link to your repo. You can come here, copy the link and share to your mentor, the browser link here. Okay. You can copy it. It's a link to this repo and your mentor will be able to see and access the code. But first of all, when creating your repo, you must make it public and then put your README or you put it offline and so on and so forth. Okay. Any question?
You said when creating the Git, you make mention of something like link. Is it ignoring link or Git ignore
Git
link? Something like that.
dot git ignore. Yeah, we created the dot git
Yes.
ignore offline. We didn't choose it there. We came offline and created it here. If you were following along, we created the git ignore offline, and we also went to gitignore.io. I think this will be made available in the recording. Please make sure you watch the recording.
The recording, is it posted on the YouTube channel?
I will share it to your drive. I'll share the link to the drive.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Any other question?
So I just want to confirm: is it all the recording that since we started the class? Because I've been wanting to revisit this
Yeah,
those lectures. I couldn't see
yeah.
them.
It has been, we've been battling with that recording. Even the last year without network, the whole thing recorded without sound, so I couldn't upload it. But this one now I am in a comfortable place. I'm back to town. It's been recorded, and we also have another mentor that is doing the recording. So two of us are collaborating. If mine doesn't work, his will officially work, and we'll upload it by tomorrow morning. Probably you get it.
Thank you, sir. It's very important.
Now those your assignments. Do not use AI. Work on this thing on yourself. I was watching what was happening in Black Mamba group. One of the mentors wanted to help this thing, a mentee to write the code himself, but he said, no, just give me the direction, let me write it. And it is by doing that that you learn, by making a lot of mistakes. Do not be afraid of mistakes, afraid of making errors, of getting errors. Errors are really good. In short, when you're writing your code and building a project and it begins to throw different errors, you're making progress. Errors are like pointers to, I'm really working on something. So don't be afraid. If you feel tired, worn out, meet your instructor. Will help you out. But don't just rush to AI and tell it to do these things for you. It's not going to help you at all. Okay. So it is sharp 10. I don't know if you have any other
Sorry,
question.
I have a question. I've been raising my
I
hand.
have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Let me share my screen so I can
All
see
right.
your
So
hand.
when you went to the gitignore.co
Okay,
site,
it's
so
ignore.io.
you clicked on some packages. So
Yes,
what informed your selection of those
no, I
packages?
just because I was working on Python. I know I'm working on Python. I'm working with Visual Studio Code. I'm working with Windows computer, and I know that definitely I don't know, or I think they might have some packages which will not be proper to push along. So I just searched for it. So on your own, if you are coding along and you happen to be working with another language, or you're working with you need to while learning you installed some different packages, or you're not even working with Visual Studio Code, you're using PyCharm, you're using any other code editor. The most intelligent thing to do is to come to gitignore.io and search for that package and see if there are files that it contains that needs to be ignored. And once you search for it, if it is here, they will bring it up for you and you include it in your search option.
All right. So for this gitignore and readme, is it a one-time thing, or is it every time you create a folder or a file that you do that?
The git ignore, all you got to do is when you create it for the first instance, you can now be updating it. Maybe along the line, you added so many other things and you think you should ignore it. Or while coding, you also added a file that you do not wish to go online. Just like about the doc, if you search it now, it's not going to be online. It's not on that GitHub because it was ignored. Okay, you can decide to ignore it. You create the file. The README file is a README information. You can always update the README. It's the first place a person who wants to understand what your project is all about goes to. Okay, he goes there to read about the project. So you can always update the README anytime as you go on. But you create the file once and then keep updating it and making changes to them, depending on your project.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Yes, sir. My question is the assignment given to us on Monday. Are we still going to submit on GitHub, or is
Yes,
there another place we are
you are going to submit it on GitHub. So you're going to create it's still in the same project folder that you are. Maybe you create like another folder like I created the one and do your assignments inside it. And then for this one that I sent to you today, you create another folder, uh, exercises, and do it inside that particular one and push them. Okay, did I answer you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But can you use let's say, the topic names in one folder and be creating files?
All for the assignments that were given today, the one you received via your email, the exercises that are 16 in number, you have to create all of them in the same folder but different files. They're going to be different files.
Yeah,
And then,
that's what I'm asking.
but in the same folder.
All right.
So, have you all taken the attendance? Please do. If there's no other question, thank you for uh, being in today's class. I enjoyed our classes. I don't know if you have any issue. You can always drop that. Tables on one floor. Your hands are up. Okay. Was it a
So
mistake?
when are we expecting the? No, no, no. When are we expecting the recorded session?
I'll have to edit it. That will be tomorrow. I'm under the weather. I told you earlier. You see, I keep sneezing in between. It just happened suddenly. So tomorrow you.
Okay, okay. I look forward to it, by this.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. See you guys. Thank
Hello,
you.
sir.
Thank you, the
What
mentors too.
assignment was given today?
No, I already gave you assignments now.
Okay, I
That
thought you say another one was given today.
yes, check your mail and check the WhatsApp group.
Okay, okay, sir.
Please, I don't know if the attendance list can be shared.